So I guess I'd have to be honest with you and say it's been about 6 months since that last part, and the water certainly has cleared up. As a matter of fact, the tank itself is doing really quite well. The algae is down 95% in the tank. There's a little bit up there on that high spot on the branches over here on this side, as well as the back edge in the back. But ironically, that hairy algae is kind of being replaced by green ball algae, or what's called Valonia. But that's a whole nother story. What I wanted to talk to you today about was water movement within inside the tank. I've added a number of new corals, but at the same time, to try to bring my electric bill down, I took off that Velocity water pump and replaced it with a Rio brand pump. I've also readjusted the thermostat on the chiller so that it doesn't come on and off as often, but that means the tank has to be up somewhere around 80, 81, maybe 82 degrees. But let me kind of give you an update as to what we're doing here. So as I said, the tank itself has really done quite well over the last 6 months. The only real algae growth is right up there, and then also along the back edge back there. I am still using the Santa Monica waterfall style SM100 algae scrubber. I just have to make it a point to clean that screen every 2 weeks. Don't go any more. I ended up removing from service the Velocity pump, figuring it was adding heat. I replaced it with a Rio pump that's down inside there, but you know, I still have a goodly amount of heat in there. I just had to readjust the thermostat so it's a little bit higher. I am getting excited once again about my reef tank. Granted, it may not be the killer SPS. You know, we did that 10-15 years ago. This has just been a real casual attempt, and what's kind of pushing me into it is the addition of some new service customers, reef or coral keeping service customers. And I need to have a place to keep the stuff because I can't keep it out in the fish system because that gets medication put into it. So I've had to clean up this system. So at this point, this story will kind of continue on in a number of different levels. It may have its title change, but I think for this part we're going to add some internal water pumps, and I probably should get somebody to officially define how it's pronounced. Jebao is kind of how I know it, but I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Jebao pumps. They're an internal pump, sort of like a power head, at least in the same concept of moving water, only they're reshaped so that they fit to the ends of the aquarium and move water left and right, although I may ultimately move them both to the back side. What I am looking for is water movement within inside the tank, and that's what these pumps offer. Additionally, I will be upgrading the lighting on the system to LED lights. I have those already. We're just waiting for a fancy controller, I guess, and Scott's going to help me out with that. What else was it I was going to mention? All kinds of funny, silly things, but can't think of what they are at the moment. So let's proceed forward with the addition of the new internal water pumps. The pumps promptly arrived within 5 days after I ordered them, so I list them on my website, myfishtank.com. They're listed under the water pump section for internal pumps. The Jebaos, and this, out of the 4 models, the model RW4, RW8, RW15, and RW20, these are the RW8s. The bigger the numbers, the stronger they are. I'm not looking for radical water movement in my tank. I'm just looking to replace the water movement that I lost as a result of removing the velocity pump and going to the Rio. It is a lesser, stronger pump, but at the same time, it supposedly was going to have a lesser heat influence. It's yet to be determined if I achieve that. But the point is that these pumps will supplement water movement that I don't have inside the tank by doing that with a internal type version. The product is packaged nicely, and it consists of basically three components. You have the propeller or pump mechanism. You have a controller device which allows the pump to produce different types of wave movement, and then you have what I believe is a power supply. This unit here has a magnetic grasp and a tab here on the back side that what fooling around I've done so far with the few I've installed already is a little bit of a challenge to get them separated, so that's something to be aware of. So as I mentioned, the internal pump, it's a basket that has a pump mechanism inside of it, a bladed impeller in there. It swivels in this direction, and then you can turn it in this direction. So there's two different axes, if that's the right word, that you can adjust this to. On a glass or acrylic tank, this portion would go on the inside of the tank, and this here is the opposing magnet, and the two of them will stick together and sandwich your tank or your glass or your acrylic between them. I wouldn't move this around a whole lot. Once it's in place, you could scratch maybe some acrylic, but the point is that you magnetically grasp them together like that.
Do you want to stir things up in your tank? Create some rock and roll? Make your corals do the hula hula? Internal circulation is the movement of water within the tank. Increasing water flow inside the tank helps flush and sweep up debris. It entices corals to open fuller with greater polyp extension. Fish respawn naturally and move gracefully in the variable currents. Jebao Wavemaker pumps can do this. 4 models, inexpensive to obtain, easy to install. Internal pumps magnetically grasp the sides of your tank, and each or all units have 5 effect settings along with separate speed and power controls. Or check out the advanced LED systems at affordable prices. Reef Breeders has a 2-year warranty on lights along with DC pumps, dosing pumps, and protein skimmers. That's reefbreeders.com. He's so widely known in the aquarium industry that newly caught fish ask to be bought by him. He set up aquariums for customers 20 years ago. Those same customers still ask for him by name. He doesn't feed the fish. They bring the ocean's bounty to him. He is only second in line when it comes to making purified water. The guy ahead of him is in the Bible. He is the most interesting fish guy in the world.
I don't always make DI water, but when I do, I prefer SpectraPure. Stay pure, my friends.
Receive a $50 LA Fishguys discount on a SpectraPure Max Cap 90 5-stage RODI water purification system. Just call or go online to SpectraPure.com and mention or enter LA Fishguys coupon code LAFMAX50 to receive your LA Fishguys $50 discount.
Hi there, my name's Jim Stime and you know me as the LA Fish Guy. Well, I also wear a couple of other hats. One of them is the jellyfish tank called the Jelly Aquarium, and the third is myfishtank.com. I offer an entire line of acrylic aquariums ranging from rectangular to hexagon, flatback hex, as well as the custom curve front aquariums. There's also an entire line of stands and canopies ranging from MDF to pine to oak with a variety of different finishes available. And the website is even smart enough that you can calculate what the freight and crate charges to your location will be. That's myfishtank.com.
Do you have an aquarium question? Are you looking for aquatic answers? Just key in wetwebmedia.com. Wet Web Media has information on freshwater, marine, brackish, and planted aquariums. Wet Web Media is staffed by the capable Wet Web Media crew. Check today's facts, ask questions, or search keywords. That's wetwebmedia.com.
So one of the things you need to be aware of with a pump is the fact that it needs electricity to work, and that requires a power cord. So this being an internal pump has to go inside the tank, and the power cord has to follow it. Some might consider that a little bit of a detraction, maybe not as aesthetically pleasing. If you recall, I've done that 130-gallon reef tank. In that particular case, the homeowner didn't like seeing the power cord. Now, there's another brand on the market. Its motor mechanism is similar in design, but only it's on the outside of the tank, which means the power cord itself is on the outside of the tank. Some might say that's safer. The reality is you're still going to see the power cord. So having understood that, let's go ahead and move forward. And it's a result of that power cord and the simple fact that I'm not really all that prepared to do a final installation of these units on this aquarium that I'm going to kind of take the cheap or the lazy way of installing them, and I'll just allow the power cords to dangle over the edge in a temporary situation. But it'll allow us to hook them up and get them running and see how they kind of work, and then I can then sit back and say, okay, how do I want those power cords to exit through the back of the canopy? So as you can see, I just have the cord looped over the edge, and I'll just bring those out to the front so that I can play around with them before I decide to make their final position. But speaking of position now, these pumps supposedly will do a number of things: a pulsing, a rocking, maybe a strong stream from one side and then the other side. They have controllers that will link together. We're ready to learn and discover all of those things, but what I'm trying to bring to the point is where they discharge their water. I mean, you kind of have to give them a clear path, otherwise they're going to blow stuff over. And this is a really nice coral, and I rescued it once already from having fallen down into the giant green blue bubble coral, and it took about a week to recover, and she's just now starting to recover. But there was a reason she fell, and that is there isn't a whole lot of current in the tank, and she's not secure. So we need to find a place where the pump can discharge without knocking stuff over. May have to re-secure some stuff. Over at this end, it doesn't look like a problem, but again, there's all those zoanthids, and then here's another coral, an unhappy one that also had fallen down previously into an elegance coral, and so he or she is in the process of recovering. And of course, I'm also going to be real curious as to how the anemones will respond to that kind of a current in the tank. So position or placement of the unit within inside the tank is important. So I guess that kind of goes along with what we're doing tonight, and that is a practice run to see how things work out. So connection to the unit is pretty simple. There's 3 pins inside there, and then there's a threaded collar that you tighten down, which makes for a secure connection. The power supply then plugs into this port here on the underside. This then becomes the controller. So my canopy has a few issues, such as the seams are kind of opening at the ends, but that kind of worked out pretty slick for allowing the power cord to pass through. So again, being a temporary application and having lots of junk sitting around here, inventory, I slid this box over here, and here are the 2 controllers, and I just need to provide them with power, and they're right up front here where I can see what they're doing and controlling. So for my first test in the tank, it'll occur right here.